You're listening to Dodge Movie Podcast. Your hosts are Christy and Mike Dodge, the founders of Dodge Media Productions. We produce films and podcasts, so this is a podcast about films. Join them as they share their passion for filmmaking.
Looking to start a podcast but don't know where to begin? Look no further. The team at Dodge Media Productions has 20 years of experience as podcast listeners and observing the industry and 8 years experience in podcast production. We can help you take your podcast from idea to fruition, and we'll make the process seamless and easy. We'll help you with everything from recording and editing to hitting the charts on Apple Podcasts. So what are you waiting for? Contact us today and let's get started. DodgeMediaProductions.com. Hey everybody, we thought we'd just hop on here really fast and go over our predictions for the Oscars and get this episode out to you. So it's going to be a short one, but we have plans to go to the theater this weekend, so we should have a brand new podcast for you next week. So stay tuned. And if you maybe want to hit us up on our social media or email either Christy at Dodge Media Productions or Mike at Dodge Media Productions, you can tell us what we should go see this weekend. So I'm just going to go in order that I have them here on the list here. And we did pretty good. You got 7 correct of what you thought would win, and I got 8. So you got 7 out of 13 right, and I got 8 out of 13 right.
Given that each category had at least 5 people, that's a pretty good hit rate.
Actor in a leading role was Michael B. Jordan. I got that right. Actor in a supporting role, Sean Penn. We both got that right. Actress in a leading role, Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. We both got that right. Actress in a supporting role was Amy Madigan, which I'm surprised I didn't select her because I'd just seen the Critics' Choice and the Actors Awards, and she got that, but she also didn't win the BAFTA or the Golden Globes. So I thought since she only had 50% of the awards, maybe. We both chose K-Pop Demon Hunters as Best Animated Feature Film. So good for us, considering we haven't seen that film, but I think we judged correctly what the wave was. Cinematographer we got wrong. It was Autumn Durald Arkapaw for Sinners, and we both thought it'd be Train Dreams. And Train Dreams got like a lot of applause in the theater whenever they announced him. So I think we had good instincts, but the Academy was loving Sinners. I guessed costume design for Frankenstein. I was just going off of, dramatic costuming. I figured that's why they would do well. Directing, we both got right. Paul Thomas Anderson won for One Battle After Another. And we both got film editing wrong. Andy Jurgensen won for One Battle After Another and had a very sweet speech. I liked his speech. We both guessed correctly, and I think for the same reason that I guessed costume design, makeup, and hairstyle. If you're just putting a little bit of powder on someone's face, it's not as dramatic as Frankenstein, so it won, and we both guessed that correctly. Adapted screenplay, we both guessed that PTA would win for One Battle After Another, so we both got that right. And then I have a big apology and I guess a bit of a fact check for our last Oscars episode because I omitted, actually maybe we looked this up because I have written down that Ryan won the Critics' Choice Awards. And so it wasn't on our list, so neither one of us picked it for original screenplay, but Sinners won. Ryan Coogler won for original screenplay. And then, let's see, you correctly guessed that One Battle After Another would win Best Picture, whereas I thought it would be Sinners. So good job.
Well, except that I don't think it was the Best Picture.
That's who you said would win.
I guessed Hollywood's tenor.
As I did this review, I did it on who we thought would win, our predictions, not our own personal choice. That was revealed on the previous podcast.
There have been years where I've seen every nominee for Best Picture and years where I've seen very few. This one I'm about halfway, I think. And I would say when I saw Sentimental Value in the theater, I don't know that I walked away thinking this is an Oscar contender like I did with Honora the year previous. However, when I looked at the various categories, I liked that film better than all the other big films of the year. In particular, One Battle After Another, I'm sure PTA is a very talented person, a very nice person. I strongly didn't respond to that film. And I mentioned in that podcast a couple of the reasons why. So for me, that was more of a buzz thing than a film where I said, oh yeah, that's a great film and I'm not surprised it would win. In this case, I felt it wasn't surprising this year. I felt both Sinners and One Battle After Another had a lot of juice, and I was expecting them to win most of the awards, with the exception of Frankenstein in, obviously, costuming and hair and makeup would have a leg up. So I was happy to see that Joachim Trier won for Best International Film.
Yes.
So he did get an Oscar.
Yes.
Even though I probably would have also given that film Best Picture.
Yeah. I think I always try to watch as many films as I can so that it's just a more enjoyable show, so that I have, because I remember being a kid and kind of not really knowing, because a lot of, as a, and when I say kid, I kind of am including my teenage years. I remember not really being super excited about a lot of the films that were often up for Oscars, because I probably liked what more is referred to as popcorn movies as a teen. And so I think as an adult, having more of an expanded interest in those type of films, I always find it fun lately to try to watch as many as we care to. And so I was more interested and more involved, obviously, this year. And so I thought it was a good show. I think overall, Conan did a good job. There were a couple times when, I don't know, I wonder if, because I didn't know this, but there was a bit of a bomb threat, or I don't know if it was, I don't know the specifics, so please forgive me because I didn't watch the news, but I was told, and I heard a joke on SNL that there was a bit of so I know there was heightened security, so I wonder if some people were kind of nervous or something, because it did seem like there was a little something off. The other thing is, I do know that he was planning a special memorial for Rob Reiner. And also I know Martin Short's going through something right now. And so he seemed a tiny bit off to me from other times when I've seen Conan perform. I thought there were some funny bits and some funny gags. Some worked, some didn't. But I just felt like there was something in the air, I'll say. But I don't know if that's because I kind of knew there was something in the air.
I think with these opening monologues now, they're hit and miss by very nature. And I thought it was normal that Conan called it out at one point. Oh, that didn't land, or you'll get that on the way home.
And he even spoke to kind of the security issues. And so I do wonder if that was top of mind for some of them.
One of the funniest bits to me, though, was when they came back from a commercial break and he didn't realize they were back.
Yeah, that was great. And at first we were trying to decide, is this part of the gag?
Is this because of his sense of humor?
Right,
it could have been, but we're pretty sure that was a real, actual issue.
Which is kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see behind the scenes. Let's see. I thought the opening was very classic, like Billy Crystal, where the host is super implanted in different films that were nominated that year.
Right.
And I think that's always, I don't know, it was always enjoyable when Billy did it, and I think it killed last night. And it was a great nod, especially since Billy was there.
Speaking of Billy Crystal, though, I mentioned both Billy Crystal and Bill Pullman are substantially gray, and that makes me feel old. Someone needs to get the same barber that Lionel Richie uses to those two guys. And lastly, just a good note that friend of the show, Will Wheaton, was on stage.
Yeah.
And that was nice to see that he was there as well.
It was a beautiful honorarium that they did for Rob and his oeuvre, because he has such a diverse type series of films that he's done, dramas and comedies, and like silly comedies like Spinal Tap, and kind of like a romantic comedy like When Harry Met Sally, but then very a scary movie kind of like Misery and A Few Good Men. I mean, he just has this broad palette of films that are just some of the most iconic films that we have, that I think it was deserving, whether or not he was a friend of the host. I think it was very deserving for the Academy to take that moment and really honor who he was, and also the philanthropic stuff that him and his wife did.
I must say, I agree with all that, and I was surprised that in the broadcast they didn't have a title card that says call a 1-800 number if you're having mental health issues. because somehow Rob's death feels more avoidable. So,
Oh, it was just so sad, and we lost some big ones last year: Catherine O'Hara and Diane Keaton and Robert Duvall. And I don't know, when I saw the in memoriam at the Actors Awards, it was hard. I mean, like you said, we're getting older, so some of our favorite actors are moving on, and it's tough because, you know, this is what we do. Right. This is what we love. This is what we spend our time on. And when you lose people that almost feel like they've been touchstones in your life, it's really, really hard.
Even though those folks didn't work in any of our films.
I know.
So I'm just throwing this out there to other listeners of the podcast. If you're an actor or another crew member, feel free to reach out. We'd love to work with you while we get the chance.
Yeah, and let's take this moment. If you are in the Portland area, we are having an event on April 11th at the Brookwood Library. It's free to all, so please come join us. We are celebrating not only the films that we've made over the last 7 years, but also the people who helped us make them. So some of our cast and crew from all of our past films we hope, will show up too and celebrate with us. And it's just, we're gonna have some Papa Floyd's donuts. If you're a person of the area, you know how yummy Papa Floyd's is, as well as some other goodies. And it's just a chance for us to get to say thank you to those who helped us, to look back, and then to look ahead to the future for Dodge Media Productions and what we do and what we're going to continue to do. So please come.
And free high fives to all attendees.
Yeah. I should have said 5 to 7 p.m. April 11th at the Brookwood Library in Hillsborough. Totally free. Just show up and enjoy some fine films, in our humble opinion. Award-winning films too. I will say that. We have, I think every single one of them has won an award.
At least in its mother's heart.
So thanks, everybody. I hope you had fun listening to these last 2 podcasts. Shoot us an email. Tell us how you did with your predictions, and let us know what we should go see this weekend.
And never forget, Dodges never stop, and neither do the movies.
Thanks for listening to Dodge Movie Podcast with Christy and Mike Dodge of Dodge Media Productions. To find out more about this podcast and what we do, go to dodgemediaproductions.com. Subscribe, share, leave a comment, and tell us what we should watch next. Dodges never stop, and neither do the movies.